Whoa! Oh!
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Professional wrestling just wouldn't be what it is today without the jobber, i.e. a typically nameless or particularly unnoteworthy wrestler sent into a match to get in zero offense, make their opponent look strong, and eat a pinfall. Back in the 80s, most pro wrestling actually were just straight up jobber matches, but as rosters have expanded and the landscape of the business has changed, they've become less and less common over time. After the 2016 brand split and with introductions like Nia Jax and the change to Braun Strowman's character, jobbers became a semi-regular staple on television again. And somehow a few of these inspiring individuals have actually become iconic. I'm D Wicket and these are the 10 best WWE jobbers and what they're up to nowadays. Number 10, Barry Horowitz. I tried to keep this list as modern as possible, but in going through the history of the jobber in pro wrestling, some of these people are just pivotal, absolutely necessary, and Mr. Horowitz is one of them. You've almost definitely heard of this name before, being one of the most commonly thrown out names from the 1990s, yet just a quick check to his Wikipedia and you'd think that someone deleted half of his fucking page. The entire section where a wrestler's achievements that are usually listed literally just says that he was known for his time with the WWF.
Barry Horowitz doing those. Wait a minute. He's got it. Horowitz beating. Can you believe?
That is actually incredible. Everyone gets that, but that's all he got. Despite his insane loser status, Horowitz commonly found himself wrestling matches higher up on the card, specifically to elevate mid-card talent, essentially making him the original mid-card jobber. We haven't heard much from Horowitz nowadays, which can't be too surprising given his status as the original jobber, but last we heard from a 2008 article written by WWE themselves, he was a nutritionist in Florida, quietly and happily living with his family, as the man deserves after all these years.
Horowitz now going to go to work on one of the appendages, the left arm.
Number 9, Johnny Knockout. We go from one of the most iconic and oddly enough influential jobbers in WWE history, if that is even a thing, to the definition of a one-off character. If you're going to be a one-off, though, you may as well do it right and make yourself as memorable as possible. During the Braun Strowman raid of 2016, when he was taking on a new jobber on the weekly, two names managed to come out as memorable. One of them features later on the list, but for now, how about the dude who likes big, sweaty men? I swear to God, this happened. It really happened. Johnny Knockout, the jobber of this particular week in history, stated that he, and I quote, likes big, sweaty men before being murdered by Braun Strowman. That's the entirety of his WWE history, and truly, it's iconic.
Why on earth are you doing this? Because I like big, sweaty men.
Unfortunately, we have another case of a wrestler seemingly falling off of the entire map after their time in the sun, as Johnny Knockout has completely gone inactive since mid-2017. Debuting in 2008, after pretty much a decade of wrestling, and this being his pinnacle of anything saying, I like big sweaty men, I mean, yeah, it makes sense that he's not doing anything anymore. Number 8, Damian Sandow. Almost easily the most entertaining jobber on this list, Sandow is somehow probably in the top 10 most over superstars of the 2010s, which given his booking is fucking incredible. Between his spot-on intellectual asshole character to being the only entertaining impersonator in history as Damian Sandow, he truly was one of the saddest stories of the main roster's illustriously bad history with jobbers.
Feeling it. I'm feeling like we may see a miracle here. Oh no! Big Show eliminates Sandow, and Big Show wins the Andre the Giant.
Thankfully for him, he got himself out of the company and even out of wrestling as a whole, now focusing on acting classes to hopefully break out into movies and possibly even television. If his acting alongside The Miz is anything to go off of, the dude belongs in comedy movies. He will kill it.
Wait. No. Maybe it is. Maybe Sandow can pull off the miracle. Oh no, Sandow out on the apron.
Number 7, Funaki. Everybody's favorite Japanese wrestler name. Funaki is just one of those guys everyone knows, but no one knows anything about. Like, legitimately, tell me a fact about Funaki in the comments. You can't. Despite a cruiserweight and a hardcore title reign under his belt, he really never was much more than just a body taking pinfalls during his reign with Vince's big men. Literally the only memorable moment in his career is taking up the name Kung Fu Naki, which is indeed quite the racially charged gimmick.
Watch out! Look out! Oh! Crane kick! A crane kick! Can you believe?
Since retiring from the ring, he's found himself a comfortable seat at WWE's Japanese commentary booth, and you know what? Good for the Naki.
Have come out of their seats with the Punjabi
Number 6, SD Jones, also known as Special Delivery Jones. Here's another jobber who helped create the blueprint to what made the jobbers we know today. While Barry Horowitz always got the job done, he was very much the definition of a regular dude. SD Jones, on the other hand, while not an exactly vibrant or particularly interesting character, was definitely a babyface. That's important, and further than that, he was incredible at his job, always coming across as likable, always getting the fans invested despite him constantly coming up short.
Wow.
Full pads on him
Been the end of his career. Look at this, 500 pounds plus, crushing down on the prone figure of SD Jones.
After retiring from wrestling, Jones lost a considerable amount of weight and picked up a job at the New York Daily Times before passing away in...
SD Jones came out charging. Bundy catches him with a bear hug. Now he's going to ram him right back into that corner. Boom.
Oh. Number 5, Curt Hawkins. The losing streak has always been one of the absolute worst attempts to get a wrestler over, or one of the best cruel punishments you could give to a wrestler, either or, but the social media age has kind of changed that up a little bit. In an era like the mid-2000s, when someone like MVP had his losing streak, he was just a dude who lost every week, but Curt Hawkins has somehow actually managed to make it interesting, both through social media movements and the general attitude audience in this day and age.
Growing up, Curt Hawkins' parents...
I mean, it's not like his position is particularly great or even that interesting, but he seems happy enough and seemingly is the only wrestler to ever truly take the role of a losing streak and make it their own thing, which he still does till this day. He may not be the greatest jobber out there, but he may be the most respectable.
Doctors recommend that each night, sleep gets 8 hours of Curt Hawkins.
Number 4, Gilbert. Now, okay. Gilbert was originally intended to be a one-off joke towards the WCW superstar and somehow turned it into a semi-legitimate career within the WWE, even being the longest cruiserweight champion under its original WWE incarnation. He may have been a nothing jobber for literally everything in between and after those 2 moments, but damn it, respect again gives him a nod on the list.
Oh my God!
As of 2018, the man legitimately still finds himself work as a professional wrestler, even teaming alongside another jobber on this list, so seriously, I think he's earned the number 4 spot.
Look at the physique on that man! He looks 80! Must be taking classes at Old No, Kevin Owens! Oh, God! Blast!
Number 3, the Brooklyn Brawler. Most lists regarding jobbers would traditionally throw the Brawler at the top spot, and while in my opinion the current landscape of WWE is just better suited for a jobber to actually obtain success, the Brawler's legacy is undoubtable. He truly embodied his jobber position, taking the inspiration from both Horowitz's ability to do the job and Jones's likability through character work. He became iconic in his own right.
ECW World Champion!
Got himself into a hole.
Steve Lombardi, the man behind the city, was let go after 33 goddamn years with the company back during that spring purge of May 2016, the same one that actually took out Damian Sandow, funnily enough, and since then he's stayed relatively quiet. He's only semi-retired technically, however, and his appearance on Monday Night Raw earlier this year proves that he's not completely gone from the company's mind, and he's not completely gone from ours either.
What a headbutt right to the nose. Look at the throw. Oh, man, just like that. Just like that.
Number 2, oh fuck, it's James Ellsworth. This one might be the single most impressive out of all. No, scratch that. He doesn't need to be number 1. This is the most impressive. James Ellsworth, similar to Johnny Knockout, was originally supposed to be a one-off jobber that Braun Strowman murdered before never being seen again and fading away into the history books. Instead, James Ellsworth managed himself back into the company for a friendship with Dean Ambrose, a winning streak against AJ Styles, a semi-relationship with Carmella, and so many chin jokes.
What the hell is that?
If someone had predicted that just based on his original one-off, I would have literally sucked them off. Nah, I wouldn't have, but you get it. Holy shit. Where's he at now? Well, unfortunately, he's currently in the middle of a scandal involving underage girls and nude photographs, so maybe it's best that we move on to the top spot. And number 1, Heath Slater. Much in the same vein as a Zack Ryder, the father of many kids has found himself in a generally underwhelming or downright pathetic career path with sporadic pockets of greatness. Slater actually started out about as perfectly as a wrestler could all the way back in 2010, teaming alongside his fellow Nexus brothers. After that dwindled out, he stayed fairly consistent with the absolute bottom of the totem pole for many, many years. I believe it was 2012, he went an entire year on Monday Night Raw, wrestling fairly consistently without a single victory. And I also believe that was the year when countless legends kept coming back to Raw to pick a fight with and beat the shit out of Heath Slater.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
He's also been a part of 3MB, his career rejuvenation alongside Rhino as the first tag team champions on SmackDown Live, and even still to this day manages to stay relevant in a fresh storyline as Baron Corbin's personal unhappy referee. There's been a lot of great jobbers before him, but has anyone ever taken so little and made so much? And those are the 10 best WWE jobbers of all time. What are your thoughts? Is Heath's longevity as surprising to you as it was me? Would you say he's had a better overall career than the easy comparison Zack Ryder? Are they both pointless? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and yes, notifications, ring that stupid fucking bell.